Okay, so now we're going to look at how we can flesh out the track, go a little bit deeper by adding other samples, other musical elements, and changing various bits and pieces within the track to make it more of a production rather than just a raw sketch. So if we take our track, and what I've done here is I've muted the beat, and so we can explore different ways of adding some audio into the track, exploring different drum beats, maybe some drum loops. So we take the piano and bass, and on the right-hand side in this rack area, we've seen the instruments area, but also the MediaBay. And this allows us to access audio, MIDI and other content and narrow down what we're after. So in this instance, what I've done is I've made sure we're looking at only audio files. And then I've typed in 100. So I'm hoping I'm going to find some loops which are at 100 BPMs. You'll notice here it says tempo, so it'll actually search on that as well. Because the overall track here is 100 beats per minute. I press this, we get to autoplay the audio. We also have align beats to project and also wait for project play. Make sure that it all plays back in time as much as possible, even if the tempos are different as well. So now I can choose different elements, I can audition them, single shots and loops, whatever comes up. So now I'll play back the project and notice how it plays in time with the project. So now we can drag our loop into the project. We'll make sure it's stopped, turn off these various options. Let's go back to the rack window here and then press play. And we can adjust our fader. And we can drag our drum loop over. You can see the waveform here. And we've got our new drum beat, which works quite nicely. Another area we might want to explore is actually looking at different bass lines, or bassline sounds. So I've got the original bass line here. But I want to try something where I'm actually programming my own type of bass line. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag what I've got here, mute the original, and this is set up using Retrolog. Now this is a subtractive synthesizer, so you normally start with quite a rich sounding waveform, which is then filtered. And we have some basic controls which allow us to shape the amplitude over time and the filter over time. So if I then play a note here, just to give you an idea of what it sounds like, we can open up the filter cutoff. By bringing that down, it's taking some of the higher harmonics out of there. The envelope allows you to shape that each time you press the note. So we've got a single oscillator running through the filter, and each time we play that note, it closes down the filter cutoff. That's quite a nice sound. If we want something more elaborate, let's copy this to a different track here, which is another version of Retrolog. And what I've done here is I've set it up with two oscillators, oscillator 1 and oscillator 2. They're tuned slightly differently. I've also got a sub-oscillator in there which sits below both of those. I can set the mixture between those three elements here, and I can change the timbre of the sound by adjusting the cutoff. So we can also automate this cutoff. In effect, this is a way of recording any parameters you have in your synth or plugin. And for that, we just set write automation mode. And we go to the beginning. Now in this case I'm using the mouse, but also you can actually use MIDI continuous controllers from your controller keyboard. So we could use something like the Steinberg controller here, also the controller keyboard I've got set up in front of me. And for this, we just click on Learn CC, and we can then move the controller we want to use. And notice now when I move the control here, it moves the cutoff. So now we've recorded our automation, We can use it via the controller value here, or we can actually use it with the mouse and so on. We need to actually see what's actually been recorded. And so if we use process here, if we go into the right click on the track menu and you show all used automation, you will see that we now get this filter cutoff. I can zoom in here. Let's look at it and open up the window. So these changes here are telling this cutoff parameter what value it should have. And we can actually edit these afterwards, so we can go right down or start high up. And we can automate all manner of parameters here. So if we go into write mode, we've got this in place already. Take the sustain of the amp envelope down, make short notes, long notes, much shorter notes, and so on. So now if we use show all used automation, we then get a whole series of tracks. Now make sure you turn write automation off, so it's only in read mode, otherwise anything you change on the plugin afterwards will be recorded every time you go through. And you can see here we have all the different parameter changes. It's worth noting that recording of automation, this write and read, is separate from the recording that you might use on the transport bar. They're two different processes, and so they should be seen in different ways. So even when you press play here, and write is enabled there, it will still, in effect, write/record the automation. If you have record pressed here, and this is in read mode, it won't actually record any of the changes to automation.